When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can seem intense. Like breakup R&B intense.
I thought you said you loved the sweater that I got you. If you didn't, you could have told me.
Geico makes it easy. Just go to Geico.com anytime to update or check your policy without all the extra drama.
I even had a gift receipt.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, and welcome to Conscious Talk Radio, and I'm your host, Linda Summers, and these shows are about relationships and all that encompasses. And the guest experts on the show will be providing you with information as to how you can become more connected with yourself. And today's show is Leave Strong and Thrive Financially During and After Divorce with Laurie Itkin and Laura McGee. And before we bring them on board, I want to give you some background information about them. Laurie Itkin is a financial advisor and wealth manager at Coastwise Capital Group, where she serves clients in San Diego and throughout the country. She is also a certified divorce financial analysis, and through her separate company, The Options Lady, provides analysis of the financial and tax impacts of proposed settlement options considered during divorce negotiations. Laurie is often quoted in the press and regularly appears as a personal finance and investment expert on television and radio. Her book, Every Woman Should Know Her Options, Invest Your Way to Financial Empowerment, became an Amazon bestseller in 3 categories. You can find her online at theoptionslady.com. Laura McGee began her career as a trial lawyer in Vancouver, Canada in the mid-1980s. She was drawn to mediation as an alternative to litigation long before mediation had come into fashion. She began her extensive training as a mediator in the mid-90s and founded Leave Strong Divorce Services in 2011. Laura mediates about 50 divorces a year, teaches mediation trainings, and mentors other mediators. Since founding Leave Strong Divorce Services in January of 2011, Laura's entire practice has been exclusively dedicated to divorce mediation with couples and divorce coaching for individuals. We are excited to have a guest with this amount of professional knowledge and experience on our show today. I'm going to help you get to know Laura McGee a little better today, and you can learn more about her and her services at leavestrong.com. And with that, I'd love to welcome both Laurie and Laura to the show. Hi.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Thanks, Linda.
You're welcome. Thank you both for being here. I mean, you guys really blend and work well together, and this is just going to be an awesome show because I wish I would have known all of this before and after my divorce. So this is just really perfect. So I appreciate you both, willing to be both on the show at the same time. So thank you.
Sorry, we don't want to talk over top of each other. But thank you for having us for sure.
I'm going to shoot straight for the start with the questions. And Laurie, I'm going to ask you the question first. When women are going through divorce or newly divorced, their financial anxiety level can be very high, as I know. So what tips do you have to help these women make smart money decisions?
Well, Linda, financial anxiety is huge, and it's interesting. It doesn't only affect, it really affects women of all socioeconomic classes and ages. I mean, even affluent women often have a fear of ending up as a bag lady. So this is a huge issue. And as the economic picture for couples and families have gotten so complex, this is really difficult. I mean, we've got, families with children are having to take on more student debt than ever. Companies were now becoming more of a gig economy. It used to be that, the man would work and get a pension, and things are so complicated now. Often women are the primary breadwinners in their household. So the best way to tackle financial anxiety for women is to get educated and, start reading articles. We didn't have the Internet 20 years ago like we have it now. So you can do online on research. There's so many free sites on divorce. You can also talk to financial advisors or certified divorce financial analysts, and you basically have to sort of understand, what do I need to know that I don't know? And before I forget, you mentioned my website, theoptionslady.com. You can go on there and request a free guide. I have a short guide that has 5 money mistakes divorced women make and how to avoid them. And that will at least give you some idea of 5 issues. And like I said, education, talking to people, talking to experts, and it's not easy.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Thank you for that. Now, Laura, so I've heard of couples who spend a small fortune on their divorces, which I did, certainly much more money than we spend on our weddings. So how much does it really cost to get divorced, and how can people get the help they need on a limited budget?
Yeah, great question, and it's probably one of the first questions people ask when they're coming into this process, kind of what's this going to cost me? And really, the litigation model, which is the one that most people think of first just because it's our culture to think, getting a divorce, get a lawyer. And I'm not saying that you may not need a lawyer as a consultant, but if you lawyer up and you take your case in a litigation model through the court system, you can expect in the San Diego region to spend on average $75,000 to $80,000 for a litigated divorce, which is still modest, because I'm sure, Linda, and certainly I know many people that end up telling me stories that as a family they've spent $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 litigating their divorce, which is really a travesty. I mean, talk about having financial fears. Nothing like wiping yourself out over an argument. But the great news is, I work in the alternative field. I'm a divorce mediator, and mediation here in San Diego County, the price range is more like anywhere from $3,000 to maybe $15,000, and the really tough case as high as $30,000, but a fraction of the real cost. And I actually do a flat fee style of mediation. I only charge $3,600 for 10 hours of base time, mediation time, and all the paperwork behind the scenes is covered. So you can imagine if you can come away spending no more than $4,000 with a filing fee on your entire divorce process, even if you have children, you're going to have bragging rights about having saved your legacy to go invest it over with Laurie and start planning for your real future.
Well, I want to follow up on this, that, Laura's absolutely right. When I see couples who have spent so much money on lawyers, and you may need lawyers in the process, especially if you go through mediation, it's always fine to have consulting attorneys, but if you think about, we were talking about financial anxiety, and so many people think, well, my spouse will pay the legal bills. It's coming out of your community. Talk about, what it costs to send a child to college these days. Even a state school is no longer affordable. So if you can save, tens of thousands of dollars on your divorce, think about how much this could mean to an education for your child.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yourself,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what's interesting is because we have the anxiety, and that we have, which is wonderful that you two are really, blending this and working together, how there's anxiety because of the financial aspect, and then hearing that there's other alternative ways, because I know for myself that I didn't know what to do. I had no idea of where to go, who to go, even though I had people I was talking to. But, it's like you just know that, okay, I have to go to court and litigate. I never thought about mediation. So, and really, I think, too, and the reason I probably did was my ex-husband had a business, right? So I think with the business that we had to litigate. But, Laura, so, I don't know, the case?
Yeah, no, that's one of the many myths about, people assume that their case is either too complicated or perhaps, they can't agree on anything anyway, so there's no way they'll be able to mediate. There's a lot of myths and mostly fear-driven, and about 1% of cases actually go to court. The rest are resolved out of court. So do you want to maintain some control and negotiate your own deal, or do you want your lawyers, which imagine if you each only had a $350 an hour lawyer, which is very modest, that every conversation is costing $700 about your life. And so, in the hands of a good mediator and also a divorce financial analyst who can help you understand, get your knowledge is power, get your knowledge base up so you know what you're negotiating and figure out You don't need a lawyer to figure out what a business is worth. You need perhaps a business valuator. You might need a divorce financial analyst. You might need a host of experts, but they can be a fraction of the cost. It's ultimately, once you have your facts, then you can be back in charge of your real negotiation and still save money. Yeah.
Which is actually what Laurie was saying in the very beginning about that. So, Laurie, can you explain why people would want to hire a certified divorce financial analyst during their divorce? Because isn't that just adding another expense to the process? I mean, I would think it would be, because there's so expensive.
Sure. At first glance, you're going to think, wait a minute, I'm hiring a mediator, I'm hiring a divorce financial analyst, I might be hiring attorneys, but let me tell you, it's almost magical what this can do. I have software, it's called Family Law Software, that's so powerful that even before, I've worked with a lot of women who are just contemplating divorce, and the reason why they haven't made the move is their anxiety about what their financial future will look like. I mean, they even assume, many times they say, look, my husband is a good dad, and I anticipate we'll have 50-50 custody. They're not really concerned as much about the parenting side of this. They are so concerned, what is their lifestyle going to be like? And we can look at the face of it, obviously, especially in California, where rents are huge, the cost of housing is huge. You know, how do you take one set, you take family income, and now you've got to support two residences, right? So it just seems to be overwhelming. But actually, with this software, I can oftentimes, if when I work with the wife, if she has, access to the tax returns, perhaps she's helped manage the money or the budget, I can get a pretty good idea of what their assets and liabilities are, what their income and expenses are before they even go to a mediator or a lawyer. And my gosh, with just a few hours with me, they can already either individually or as a couple hammer out, at least get parameters of some of the issues. And then when they do decide to go to a mediator or lawyers and even litigate it, there are so few issues to resolve. It's just going to cut the cost by a huge percentage. And more than just the cost, it gives these women a peace of mind. I will be honest. I will say you have to sell this house if you want, not legally, but you have to sell this house from a financial standpoint if you are going to be able to make ends meet. So really, it's just it's crucial to get information, and I charge $150 an hour, which is going to be at least half, if not a third, the price of going to an attorney. Do you really want an attorney doing all this financial analysis, paying more, and they're not even an expert?
Exactly, and I did that, and it was crazy. Yeah. So you're trying to grasp everything you possibly can that you only know, and I think what you said earlier is about educating yourself and really, looking. But, I didn't know any of this. It was just kind of like, oh, my gosh, I'm on the seat of my pants. What am I going to do? And so, you get different information from different people. So you're just kind of like, there's so much thrown at you that, like I said, I wish I would have had you too in the beginning. So this is so perfect for people who are tuning in and listening now and tuning in afterwards that, you can get through this so much easier and just without the anxiety and having Laura as the mediator and not going through this litigation. So, but I want to touch on Laurie as well. I know that you work with women after divorce. So how do you help them manage their money afterwards?
Well, that's like even the biggest part of the financial anxiety. So let's just say the divorce is pending or it's final, and maybe retirement assets have been divided in half. Maybe the house will be sold. Maybe there's some debts to be paid off. It's paralysis. Even if a woman, I find it striking, even women who are high-powered professionals who may even be in the finance field or the accounting field, even these types of financial experts can be paralyzed about what decisions do I make? How do I invest the money? Do I pay off this debt before this debt? Do I buy a house right away? Do I rent? And so what I try to do is I want to have a really good communication level. I want to make sure that as their financial advisor, we're the best fit for each other. That's so important. You have to trust each other. the client and the advisor have to have a trusting relationship and a respectful relationship. And there has to be openness. Fears must be shared. And basically, I just help figure out, what are your expectations? Are these expectations realistic? I may coach them on why downsizing can be actually empowering. Instead of feeling like you're giving up things, I want to help women feel empowered, and I want to educate them about investing. I want them to know that they actually have power over their money. They have power over the decisions they can make, and for the first time in their lives, in many of these cases, these women are 100% responsible for their decisions they make about money, not just spending it, but saving it and investing it. And the feedback I get, I think I have an approach that's very different from most financial advisors because I'm very analytical and I totally get into the weeds with the numbers, but it's also about the emotion. You need both.
Yeah. And you're a woman, too, so that really helps, too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Perspective, yeah. So I think that's really good as well. So, Laura, I know that, thank you, Laurie, for that. That was just amazing. So, Laura, can you explain how you help a couple when they come to you to mediate their divorce? Because now, say we have to, now we're in this, we're not going to litigate, but we're going to mediate. What is the process like with that?
Yeah. So what I do is I have couples come in together for an initial consultation. It's complimentary, and that way they both get to meet me, at the same time, and it's an opportunity for them to essentially interview me, decide if I'm going to be a good fit for them. And then assuming they decide they want to move forward with me, we actually have a mediation contract, and it sets the ground rules for the process. And sometimes I'll then be saying to them, in a groundwork session, kind of what are the experts you might need. And so I might say, look, you need to see someone like Laurie first, because first thing you have to do is figure out what's in your bucket. What are we going to be negotiating? If you don't know what the value of your assets are, or the tax consequences of swapping them, or if you have a rental property that's going to have recapture, if you have an IRA that taxes aren't paid on yet, and how do you move things around? So I'm there identifying the issues with them and ensuring that everybody's level of information is brought up and that they have a safe, fully informed environment before the negotiations begin. And then I'm not the judge. They become their own judges. I'm the facilitator of those negotiations, and if they want to work with advising attorneys behind the scenes to help them make proposals, that's certainly great too. And I draft everything for them, all the pleadings. No one ever goes to court. A final marital settlement agreement, so I'm also the drafts person to make sure they have an enforceable agreement that they finish up with. And I'll tell you that most of my clients complete their entire process in anywhere from 10 to 12 hours in my office, even when they have complex assets. And we're done anywhere on average between 3 and 6 or 8 months, depending upon whether they want to sell some assets and get some defined values. So the whole process is completed most times in under 6 months for between $3,000 and $4,000, and they come away with a parenting plan, stress reduction. It's been done quickly because what that was like. You went through a litigated divorce that goes on forever, and they have some money to actually go and invest and start moving on with the rest of their life.
And mediation, what I always think, it's a no-risk proposition, because if one party decides this isn't working out, they can always go another route. But again, you're still going to, whatever time you spend in mediation is going to be so valuable in terms of narrowing down which issues really are the controversial ones. So, again, I just see no downside in trying to work with a mediator like Laura first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And Linda, I wanted to touch on something you said a couple times. Linda, you said, that you got advice from lots of different people. And, everyone knows somebody that's had a divorce, and at least half the population has had at least one divorce. So the tragedy is people get a lot of uninformed advice, which tends to be kind of like watching the news, like who got shot and who got thrown off a bridge. Like when people tell divorce stories, they tell these horror stories, and it scares people into thinking, oh, my God, I need to find a shark. Well, when you swim with sharks, you're more likely to get eaten, is my opinion. And so rather than taking your advice from horror stories and scary stories and all the bad news stories, really find experts who can advise you. And I call it the circle of 5. No more than 5 people should ever be inside and know your real business, because you've spread it. Instead of putting it all on Facebook, and we can put this on Facebook, well, you shouldn't be putting your divorce, and oh my God, he had an affair, and I think he stole some money from our account. Go and work with people that can support you to get the real information, because that information is power in this process, and it's freeing. It's very freeing.
Absolutely. Well, I have another question for you, Laura, but we have a caller that's on the line. I can ask if you guys are willing to take a question.
Oh, of course.
Sure.
Let me ask this. Hi, caller from area code 301. Did you have a question for either Laurie or Laura?
Oh, maybe he or she's on mute.
Maybe they just want to listen in. Okay, we're just going to let them listen in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ask you the question, Laura. So some women hire you as a mediator, but as a divorce coach, how do you help them in that capacity? Because that would have actually been really amazing, too, to have a divorce coach, like kind of coach, to help through the process.
Yeah, so I do offer coaching, divorce coaching, as my sort of another option. So I either work with people that are at the planning stages, contemplating divorce, and they want to look to see what life after divorce would look like, and I can help them, to get to people like Laurie and any experts, and help them to, everybody plans their wedding, right? Sometimes for a year or two. Like, why wouldn't you plan your divorce, right? Because this is going to be forever. This is going to be forever. So I'm like, I don't suggest it in any clandestine way. Just emotionally prepare yourself, psychologically prepare yourself, financially prepare yourself, think about what your future is going to look like, and get ready for this massive transition and change in your life. I also work with individuals that might be working with another mediator. Some of them are even working with a lawyer and just want to help with some organization, because I think we touched on it, that paralysis that happens when someone says, go collect all of your financial documents and put them on this form, and then someone goes like, So I help organize them and really just keep them on task to save on how much they would end up spending on legal fees. And I also do help with the recovery process, everything from let's research franchises for you, let's get you to a new financial planner because maybe your husband's financial planner is not the one you want anymore. Let's look at college. I mean, I really just flow through the whole process of helping people, women in particular, but I work with men and women. But women seem to really like the concept of having that coach, someone professional, giving them a little bit more sage wisdom instead of all their girlfriends going, oh, just do this to the guy and just do that to the guy.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that we think that, too, that it's not going to be as bad. Like I know for myself personally was like, oh, this is not going to be a bad thing. This is going to kind of fly through pretty easily. It took us 3 years. And so, and a lot of money. And so it was kind of like, this is why I think it's so important what you guys are saying and having you guys on the show, because there's so many people that can use this wealth of information to save. I mean, just the money that he spent and that I spent alone, oh my gosh, and I'm still paying, and I'm sure he's still paying, so so it's just amazing, that you guys are just really doing this and how you blend with one another and really are helping, how the process is having, going to Laurie first and getting all the financial of what we can do, then going to you, Laura, to be able to, do this whole process of the mediation and stuff. So just amazing. So that kind of leads me into the next question of Laurie first. So what type of clients have the most success working with you? And do you have the same thing, too, where you have a free consult and, not only are they a good fit for you, but are you a good fit for them, too? So it's kind of
Exactly.
I think it was both ways.
Exactly. Yeah, I have a free consultation, usually a phone call. If they're local, I can meet with them, but I do work with clients all over the country. A lot of them we use Skype, so I can share their statements with them. We can walk through together and also a video. But I think when I look at the relationships where we've both felt like we're such a great fit with each other is, if a woman says, the major thing is I am trying to help my client not run out of money. I mean, that's the biggest mistake people make. they run out of money. They will outlive their money. This is the biggest fear. So if somebody says, Laurie, I really want your advice. I want you to work with me to make sure that I don't have to depend on my children when I'm 80 years old and I've run out of money. When we start from that, then that means that, you know, they'll be receptive when I talk about various things. I mean, investing the money, you know, trying to make it grow without taking too much risk. There's different strategies. I can discuss the strategies, but it really has to be the person who wants to learn, because I do some things that are pretty complex, and I want to educate so that I want the client. What happens if I retire? I'm only going to be 48 this month. I'm young, but, you know, I want the most successful client is going to be somebody who's really going to be able to learn from me and be empowered and be able to be independent if I go away. So that's so important. The second thing is, you know, being open to things like, you know, you may have to work or start a business or get a job, or you may have to cut your spending, or you may have to actually take more risk with your assets. You may have to be open to investing in stocks, even if you're afraid that the stock market goes up and down. You may have too much real estate. You may not have enough real estate. So just being open to all elements of the financial world and wanting to learn. That is what creates the best success. And people can always go to my website, theoptionslady.com, request a free consult. My book, I always say in my book, Every Woman Should Know Her Options, is the best $15 investment you'll ever make. You can learn all about how I became a millionaire before I was 40, the investing strategies that I used and what I did to save and grow that money. And again, the guide on my website. So, you know, again, I encourage people to reach out and complimentary consultation with anyone who's interested in learning more.
I love it. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. Laura, what about you? What types of clients have the most success working with you? Because you also talked about you have the free consultation, but if they're a good fit for you, so sometimes they may not be, you know, it works both ways, you know.
Yeah.
As far as being a fit
I
for
work
you.
With couples. I work with couples throughout San Diego County, and like Laurie, sometimes one of the spouses is not even here. They might be in the military, or they might have a job where they're even in another state. But as long as they are divorcing in San Diego County, I would be a good fit for them as a couple. And when it comes to coaching, I've actually got clients in Canada, all over the United States, because what they're really looking for in a coach is someone to sort of strengthen them, be their backbone, help them to think a little more logically and clarify things for them. So they're not always local. I'll often meet by phone or by Skype as well. But if they do want to meet with me personally and they live here, that's a great fit. And I have a very interactive website. In fact, I have a detailed budget worksheet that I think Laurie would like right on my website to help people start to get themselves organized and prepared. And they can even book from my website both a complimentary consultation and all of their appointments. And there's a number of blogs on my website that are just there to help people, you know, learn more about spousal support, learn more about, you know, this baby boomers that are divorcing en masse right now, and the real myths behind mediation. So I try to make myself both an educator and a supporter, a coach and a mediator. I try to see myself as someone who's there to really try to change the culture of divorce here in Southern California.
I think, Linda, if we could say one thing, I think Laura and I are both first and foremost educators and champions, and that's how we approach everything we do. She from the mediation and coaching side, and I from the financial empowerment side.
Yeah,
which I love. So. It's a great blend. Yeah, and because it's needed on both sides when you're going for divorce or after divorce. Absolutely.
I would just quickly add, Linda, because we're about out of time, that Laurie has even come into mediation to support, in particular, the entire mediation, right there with her laptop, punching numbers in, being able to answer questions right on the spot to empower the process. And so I love her even as a partner because I know that if I've got a client who doesn't feel strong enough to mediate and that they're lacking in financial savvy, that I can bring Laurie right into the mediation room and she'll balance the power with that kind of information that she can wrestle right at her fingertips. It's wonderful.
Wow. What a great opportunity that is. You don't have that when you're in mediation or litigation, so awesome. And so you guys both give your website. So Laurie's is theoptionslady.com. Laura's is leavestrong.com. And you both have the free materials on the website. With Laurie, you have the guide to financial advisor experts or just financial information?
The free guide is 5 money mistakes divorced women make and how to avoid them.
Okay, perfect. And Laura?
Yes, there's a number of blogs on my site that will help them, but what I also offer for people if they're interested in getting a look-see of what their spousal support would end up being, they can fill out the budget worksheet and then book a complimentary consultation, and I'll run some preliminary numbers for them, whether you're the payor or the payee. That's probably one of the first questions people want an insight into, and that's something that I offer to do complimentary at the outset if somebody wants to get that fear out of the way right away.
Right, and the only thing with that is it can be challenging. You know, again, if somebody is self-employed, then we have to get into the details of what really is income available for support. But for, you know, like you said, Linda, your husband ran a business. But certainly with people that are employees, W-2 employees, straightforward, that the calculator and Laura's assessment is just very valuable. It's great to give you a starting point.
Yeah, absolutely. So anybody listening now and afterwards, there's just so much wealth of free information, material that you can get and go to these two people, you know, Laurie and Laura, that actually can help you, you know, before, during, and after your divorce. And really, what I heard you really saying throughout the whole show is really about, you know, us empowering ourselves, but you're helping us to do that, you know, and bringing the power back to us. And really educating ourselves and knowing that there's other options out there. And I think just the mediation, Laura, is amazing. Like I said, there's just this to me, I wish I would have had this. And so I know there's a lot of people out there that, you know, can be listening to this and really knowing that there's this option. So thank you both really for coming to the show and bringing such a wealth of such fabulous information that can save so much money in so many areas. So thank you, really.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having. Yeah. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you all for listening today and the ones out there who will join us afterwards on YouTube. We thank you so much. Please don't forget to follow, subscribe, comment, and like us. And you can join me next week, August 18th, for the next show, The Healing of Horses to Live Fully with Mindy Chernoff. So, again, Laurie and Laura, thank you so much. And, you know, for anybody listening, really, I've met these two women, and they're just so down to earth, so genuine, and they know their stuff, as you heard on the show today. So thank you again both for being on the show, and we'll see you real soon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
What if you could get truly original jeans at a price that's truly incredible? Well, right now you can, because Levi's and Kohl's are offering your favorite fits for some phenomenal prices through Labor Day. For men, Levi's 511 slim jeans are on sale at their lowest price of the season, just $39.99. And for women, Levi's 535 super skinny and mid-rise skinny are also on sale for prices as low as $36.99. Stop by your nearest Kohl's or go to Kohls.com today.
With the LG Phoenix 2, you can always be your selfie. Its Gesture Shot feature makes it simple to snap candid selfies on its 5-megapixel front-facing camera.
Sunday, fun day selfies.
Get it with AT&T Go Phone with unlimited talk, text, and data usage with the first 3 gigabytes at high speed for just $45 a month. All with no annual contract. AT&T, mobilizing your world. Phone restricted to Go Phone service for 6 months after activation. After first 3 gigabytes, data speeds are slowed to up to 128 kilobits per second for rest of term. See store for details.